Good afternoon, everyone. So come on in. We're going to give just a second for our live viewers to pop in. But while we're waiting on that, I'd like to thank our replay viewers who are here joining us either on Buffy's Toolbox group, or you may be joining us via YouTube. So if you are a Premier Designs jeweler and you are not currently a part of our Buffy's Toolbox group, please feel free to come on over to Facebook, request to join at Buffy's Toolbox group, and then just message me with either your jeweler number or some way for me to be able to verify that you are in fact a jeweler, and I will go ahead and get you added. Hello, Shannon. How are you doing, girlfriend? So today might be a little bit of an ouch. Well, thank you for that. Look, see, I'll take the compliments before I give the ouch. So today might be a little bit of an ouch, but I'm hoping that you're here watching because you're ready to possibly hear some hard truth. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. There's my girl, Jenny. I missed you. So I got to decompress here for just a second because I feel like this is such a heavy topic, and I don't really want to touch on it, but I feel like I have to touch on it. So here goes. So I feel like there have been some who have been really struggling with some of the changes that Premier has made. Some of them they're over the moon excited about, but then some of the other changes they're really struggling with. Okay. Hey, Miss Myra. So if you are someone who has been kind of struggling with some of the changes that Premier has made, and you would like to admit that openly, please feel free to put a me down in the comment stream. That'll just let me know. And again, I don't want to step on any toes today, and I don't want to say anything that's going to be harsh. So just know that I come to everyone out of love. Okay. And listen, it's okay. If you've been struggling with some of the changes, it's okay to say that, you know what, I've really been kind of struggling with this. Okay. But I just want to touch on some of those changes and kind of why we should perhaps not be struggling with them. Okay. So some have been struggling with the fact yes, Myra, I'm telling you, this is funny. Okay, so some have been really struggling with the fact that Premier is eliminating the $50 bonuses. However, now please know I have zero inside information on why they eliminated these bonuses. However, there are a couple things that just kind of stand out to me and would really make sense to me as far as why I think it's okay that they eliminated them. Okay, so first off, I want you to understand that Premier has now totally streamlined the entire home show benefit. Okay. They have totally streamlined the entire hostess benefit in the sense of with getting rid of those bonuses. They're just streamlining things, okay? And they're also going to still use those occasionally for hostess promotions and things like that, okay? So it's not to say that they wouldn't ever be there. But I want you to look at the fact that they are still giving 30% of the total sales in free jewelry. They are still giving 4 to 8 items at half price, okay? Of which they allow those half price item retail totals to go back to the show sales, and they get 30% back even off their own purchase, okay? Listen, that in of itself is amazing. Those bonuses are not really needed, okay? It is really kind of overkill, if you ask me, in comparison to every other direct sales hostess benefit package that I have seen. Okay, so to me, I'm going, why are we getting upset over this again? Because they're really not needed, and they are still more generous than any other company I've ever seen. So we need to kind of bring that back in a little bit, reel that back in a bit. Really, in my opinion, we've kind of become overly spoiled. And in becoming overly spoiled by Premier, we have also developed a little bit of a entitlement attitude. And y'all, I don't know about you, but this whole entitlement attitude that we get from some of the younger generation, I won't say it's all of them, but from some of the younger generation, that literally just makes my blood boil. There's no way that I, as an adult, should be having an entitlement attitude toward a company who is already so stinking amazing and so stinking generous, okay? And in that, I am also my own business owner. Okay, so let this sink in for a second. Let it sink in for a minute how much Premier already does and will continue to do to help you run your own business. Now let's think if Premier wasn't involved and you had to run your own business. How many things would you be having to spend money on that thankfully, because of Premier, you don't have to spend money on? Let's think about all the marketing materials that they provide for us. Let's think about these incredible websites that we're literally only having to spend, as of right now, $9.95, as of next month, $14.95. And we do not have to have our own IT department to do that. We do not have to pay for this huge elaborate website and all these, updates, and we don't have to format it ourselves or pay for someone to format it for us. We don't have to pay for graphic designers to take care of this stuff for us. We have Premier who provides us with all these incredible things. And then I hear people being upset because Premier is no longer going to offer hostess packets. Okay, so this is another thing that, yes, Premier is eliminating hostess packets. But again, I want you to think about why this makes sense that they're eliminating the hostess packets. Okay, are you ready for this? So, by the way, I love the fact that I say, eek, this might be an ouch, and I have 35 viewers. I think that's the largest number we've had. Okay, so this is true that Premier will no longer be offering hostess packets after August 31st. They will be discontinued. Okay, now some people are really upset about this. Some people are very sad that Premier is no longer going to be offering this. But again, I want you to think about why this makes sense. Our hostess plan, while the hostess plan itself is so streamlined that yes, it works for fundraisers, it works for home shows, it works for Facebook shows, it even now works for catalog shows, y'all. So when you have these people saying, does a catalog show count? And this and that, guess what? Now, yes, you can do a catalog show and you will get the exact same bonuses and the exact same benefits as what you get by having an in-home show or a Facebook show. They have streamlined it so much, but here's what I want you to think about. The directions for your in-home hostess are going to be much different than directions for your Facebook show hostess. Your Facebook show hostess is going to have very different directions than your catalog show hostess. Your catalog show hostess will have very different directions than your fundraiser hostesses. All of these things may have very different directions than just a mega show hostess. Okay, do you get where I'm going? Like, there are so many different ways for people, and let's not even forget the other things that we offer. lunch, office lunch shows or breakfast and bling shows or whatever. There's different themes and different things that we can all do. And many of those things are going to have very different instructions, directions, benefits that you may choose to offer. So guess what? Wouldn't it be really difficult for Premier to create a generic enough hostess packet that could be used for all of the things, but you would also still have to include all of these special directions that you need for this show versus what this one looks like and everything else. So listen, Premier is just simply saying, you know what, there are so many ways you can go about doing this. We are not going to create a hostess packet that is only good for one thing. Now, again, please remember, I have no inside information as to why these things are being done or anything else. Just in my head, this is how things are making sense. And I'm going, well, yeah, I mean, because I had to create my own Facebook hostess packet because that's different than an in-home show. You're not talking about simple refreshments and things like that. But yet for an in-home show, that's what you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about bringing a friend to the show or things they will be able to try on and things like that for a in-home show, but you will not be talking about that for a Facebook show. Does this make sense? Okay. So this is one of those things where you have to look at all the other amazing things that they offer and stop looking at the things that they have taken away. Okay? Because here's the thing. You are either going to get behind your company 100% and make sure to keep it in the back of your mind that they are never going to do anything without it being for the best of their jewelers and for their customers and for their hostesses, okay? The other thing about the bonuses, and I believe somebody may have already said it, I think it was Mary Reed. Listen, do you know how many times Premier may have paid bonuses that were not actually earned? Because someone would say, well, you know what? She got $95 in advanced orders, so let me just go ahead and give her that $100 advanced order bonus and holding the original date, but I'm just going to go ahead and give her that $50. It's just $5. But she didn't earn it. Okay? So let's think about how many times that may have happened. Let's think about how many times, even though Premier had stated that 3 future shows are home shows, let's think about how many times Premier may have paid bonuses on catalog shows or shows that never held anyway. Okay, so they paid that booking bonus. So many times, not only was Premier kind of gypped in that, but how many times do you think that people booked simply so their friend could get the $50 bonus and they never intended to actually hold that show for you anyway? And then what happened? You paid out money toward that bonus. Premier paid out money toward that bonus. And that person was never going to even hold that show. They just did it so their friend, and I can even tell you, there were times I overheard somebody say, listen, even if you don't hold the show, it doesn't matter. I get the $50 right off the bat. Okay? Think about that. Think about the fact that your calendar would have been taken up on that show day for someone who never even intended to hold it. And now you don't have a show on that day and time, simply because they scheduled a date just to make sure the hostess could get that bonus, okay? So I want you to think about why it's good that they are getting rid of this, okay? I also want you to go back to, we are independent distributors. This is your own business. If you, for whatever reason, do not feel as though the 30% and the 4 to 8 items at half price are a good enough incentive, then it is totally up to you. You can choose to offer something else. In fact, one of the things, oops, It's further away from me than where it should be. Give me one moment. Okay, so one of the things that I have opted to do is, because of the fact that, again, oh, and that's the other thing, the increase in the minimum requirement for show bonuses, or for show benefits to be given, rather. Yes, it has increased to $200. This is still minimal compared to what other direct sales companies have. All right. And people are still going to get more because they're getting 30% instead of only 10%. So even if there's another company out there who might start their benefits at 150, if they're only getting 10% or even 20% of their show, retail, it doesn't matter. They're still not getting as much in free product. All right. I've also seen many that, sure, the hostess benefits start at maybe 150 or maybe even 175, but you know what their benefit is at that point? They get a half price item. That's it. They get a half price item. Okay. So for many, they don't even start earning free product until a few levels up the chart. Okay. So something to think about. But one of the things that we're doing is we have decided that anyone who holds the original date and has $200 in advanced orders, they are going to get their choice of a little kimono. Listen, these kimonos are $5 through Five Below. Okay, so you can go on to fivebelow.com and get these kimonos for $5. All right. Apparently, they also have them at, was it AC Moore that I saw maybe? Okay. So, yes, $200 minimum starts in September 1st. Yes. Okay. So, they're going to be able to choose from my collection. So, I have like 3 or 4 different designs that they can choose from when they hold the original date and they have the $200 in advance sales. That is costing me just $5 to do that. All right. The other bonus was costing me $6, and it was for $50 less of a commission, right? So to me, this all makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm going, you know what? Those bonuses, we had a great run. They were good. Sometimes. They helped. Sometimes. But many people didn't even remember that they had those. Have y'all realized that? I feel like even though our hostess plan was fairly simple, there was so many different things that people often didn't even remember what they were supposed to expect. Despite the fact that I would send them hostess postcards reminding them of these bonuses and how they can earn them, they still, at the time I'm figuring out their free jewelry credit, I'm going, oh, and by the way, don't forget, you get $50 bonus for this. And they're like, wait, for what? Why am I getting that $50 free? Well, because you had 3 future bookings. Oh, I forgot all about that. Or I mark down that they get an extra $50 free. Why am I getting that? Well, because you held the original date and you had $100. Oh, okay. So I'm actually really excited that they're not going to be having those anymore, because it now gives us a little bit more flexibility and where we can, kind of personalize our incentives a little bit if we want. So I love the fact that we can do that, because here's the thing. You have some people who will not get as excited about an extra $50 free as what they will for a $5 kimono. I'm just saying. Okay. So there are different things that you can do, and that doesn't even have to be, that can be something that I add in the hostess packet. That doesn't, or, to explain that in like the hostess packet or in the hostess coaching, I don't even have to share anything about that kimono at the show, except to reward the hostess with her choice of kimono because she did these things. And then I'm getting to reward her for that in front of her guests. To me, that's a big deal. Okay. Yes, the hostess bonuses are going away starting September 1st. Okay. I'm actually really excited about that because listen, I'm still looking at the fact that still for a $500 show, which is the national average, okay, for a $500 show, hostesses are still going to get $150 free plus 4 to 8 items at half price. And then that gets added back to their show sales. They get 30% of that back free, blah, 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 blah. Listen, plus whatever you choose to give them. We have got to stop undermining the generosity that Premier shows us day in and day out. And we have got to remember that Premier is doing all of this because they feel that it is what is best for their jewelers, for their customers, for their hostesses. There are some other people who were a little concerned about the online ordering or a little concerned about the increase in shipping. I'm still going to say that, let me just tell you, for direct shipping to go to the customer themselves for just $7, regardless of how many pieces they order, that's huge. So many other companies, the shipping is based on the amount of retail and there's all these other things. Listen, it is so stinking simple. It's $5 if you want it to go to the hostess. It's $7 if you want it to go to you. Point blank, very easy across the board. Nothing difficult about that. And the fact that Premier is offering that, we need to be super stoked, okay? The fact that Premier is offering online ordering starting September 1st, that is huge, all right? There are so many changes that are happening, and I feel like, how do I want to say? Okay, and I hate to kind of use the Bible to reference this, but to me, it holds true in the same way. The same way that you cannot pick apart what you like about the Bible and say, well, you know what? I'm only going to like this and focus on this because I really like that. But this over here, not so much. I don't care for that. I don't like the fact that it's in there. I have issues with that, etc. Just like you can't pick and choose what you believe about the Bible or what you're going to choose to follow about the Bible or what you should be excited about the Bible. You don't want to do that with your business either. You don't want to say, well, you know what? I really like this and I really like this, but I don't like that. Okay. Yes, Laura, hostesses will also be paying the $5. All shipping for all orders is going to $5 unless they want it to be shipped directly to them, then it's $7. This is also why the Golden Guarantee is going to $7, because that is also shipping directly to the customer. Does that make sense? So I think they're just trying to streamline the whole thing to say, okay, if it's going to the customer, it's $7. If it's going to the hostess, it's $5. Okay? I think they're just trying to really streamline everything. And we don't want to sit there and say, well, you know what? I'm really excited about these changes. I really like this. But this over here is awful. Okay? Don't have that mentality. Know and understand that all of the changes were made with our best interest in mind. And remember to always look at the fact of where would you be and what you're spending money on and what you would have to do yourself if you were truly in this business by yourself. Instead, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And Premier has your back. Okay? They are doing so much for us right now. We should be doing nothing but singing praises, not complaining. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? No, the hostess isn't paying $7. They're paying $5. Yep, you got it. Okay? And Myra, you touched on a good thing there. Okay? Many people do not like change. Okay? They struggle with change in general because change means now they have to change. They have to change the way they word things. They have to change the way they do things. Listen, I'm still concerned that I'm going to wind up flubbing up because for 10 years, I've been saying when it comes to the Golden Guarantee, it's just $5 plus ship, plus tax in areas where that's applicable and things like that. And now I have to get myself in the habit of saying $7. Okay. So there are some things that there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve there. But yes, just as Christine said, no change, no growth. Listen, For those of us who say they don't like change, I want you to think about the fact of a butterfly. All right. If it was not for change and for growth, we would just have caterpillars everywhere. We wouldn't have any butterflies to look at. Okay. If we were to, like, I want you to just, I know that's kind of a silly, analogy, but it truly is. Okay. You just have to understand that change is a good thing, because here's the thing that some people don't like to focus on. The world is changing every single day. Technology is changing every single day. Listen, y'all no sooner buy your brand new iPhones or your brand new this or your brand new that, and within a week it's already outdated. There's already something else that they're developing that is better, that has better technology, that has better functionality, that has better this, better that, better whatever. So I'm telling you, the world is changing with or without you. So you may as well jump on board and get ready for an amazing ride, because change is coming and it's going to be fabulous. Okay. So that is what I have for y'all today. I hope that in some way this may have helped. This may have touched your heart in some way. It may have been an ouch. I pray you don't feel like I was throwing bricks, because that is not my intent. But I want to make sure that y'all understand a little something else. For those of us who are believers, did we not have to change to follow Christ? And was that not the best decision that we could have ever made in our life? So I want you to really think about that. I want you to think about how much we had to change from our sinful ways. We had to change our wicked ways to be able to follow a God who sent his son to die on a cross for us. Like, I want you to think about that. Truly think about that. There had to be so much to change there. And we were renewed in such an amazing way. Don't think that your business cannot be renewed through all these amazing new changes. It absolutely can be. Okay. For those who are offering, Myra wants to know, are we offering something for those who book? Absolutely. I offer something for those who book. We have the booking incentive for those who are actually scheduling, but then we are also choosing to offer a $15 credit for the hostess to use at the show of her friend. Okay. So if she comes to her friend's show, she will have $15 worth of free credit to use at that show. Therefore, if the show does not hold, there is no money spent. There's no money out of my pocket. There is no lost, nothing lost. Does that make sense? But if she comes and she places an order, she's going to get $15 off. Okay. Now, that's just something that we are choosing to do. What I haven't decided is if we're going to continue we always used to do the 20% off for the entire year. Haven't quite decided if I'm going to do that, or if we are instead going to just do the $15 at each show booked, and maybe offer, something bigger for her birthday month or something. I don't know. We haven't quite decided that. There is some stuff here that I'm missing. Renee asked, could you post a list of websites you use for your biz? I will see what I can do about doing that. The one that I was mentioning about the kimonos, that is just fivebelow.com. It is, many of you probably even have a Five Below in your area, a store in your area. And so you can either get them in store or you can get them online. They seem to have more options online, so that was where I went. But yeah, so, all right, y'all. So I'm going to let you guys scooch. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Pray you have a blessed day. And thanks so much for being here. I so appreciate you guys. Thanks again.